In this tutorial, we're learning a new tool, the clone tool, which is a tool we can use to actually copy and paste a part of the image from one spot to the other. So I'm opening up this clone tool right here. I'm going to just double click this here, create a layer, and then duplicate this layer just so we have the backup layer, just so we can see what's going on once we made some changes. I'm going to zoom in, just pressing Z on my keyboard, zooming in right here. This was a photo taken at a castle in Switzerland where my great grandfather was actually from. So you can see here though, one thing that I don't like about this photo at all is that I knelt down on the ground and I got all this gravel right here on my knee. And it's kind of awkward. If you're looking at the photo, you're like, what the heck is that? So we can use the clone tool, the clone stamp tool, which is right here. If you select it and bring your mouse over here, you see this big circle. So it's similar to a brush. I'm going to make the size smaller, again, using the Control Option, dragging to the left or right way to do it on a Mac. That's a Windows Alt, and then dragging to the left if you're on a PC. If I do anything, if I click, it says, could not use the clone stamp because the area to clone has not been defined. You have to option click to define a source point. So what we have to do is pick a point that we want to copy onto this part. Basically, we want to get rid of this gravel right here. So I'm just going to pick a part where my skin looks similar to that skin. So I'm going to say this skin right here, maybe right to the right of this is where I want to copy. So I'm going to option, and you see the mouse changes, click, alt click if you're on a PC. And then if I move my mouse over, you see that it's kind of grabbing that skin that I just selected. And then if I paint or click, you can see that I am now painting over that gravel. One thing to note though, and I'm going to make a mistake, if I just click and drag over to the left, basically what happens is it's repainting my knee. So it's starting from where I clicked and then it's repainting to that area. So to reselect a different part of my skin that I want to copy, I'm just going to have to option click down here again. So option click and then just paint on. Dealing with edges is a little bit tricky. You have to kind of find a good edge and then move it up. So option click, find an edge, move up. Option click, find an edge, move up. And sometimes you might have to play around with the other edges. So I'm just option clicking in the dark part of, I think this is Isabel's jeans right now, to get a good solid edge. It's like one little part right here that looks a little funky, so I'm going to do that. Now if I turn this on and off, if you would have never seen my knee before, you would have never known that this gravel was here. And especially if I zoom out and then turn on and off, it just disappears. And that's the clone tool. Another fun way to use the clone tool, which is a little bit different, is to literally to duplicate something on the screen on purpose. I'm going to show you how to use the heel brush in the next lesson, which is actually a better way to fix blemishes like that on the knee or pimples or things like that. But if I wanted to use the clone tool to be creative, what I could literally do is duplicate something like one of these towers. So say I zoom in here on this castle.cr2 file. Then I take the clone tool, make my brush a little bit bigger, go to the brush settings. I want it to be actually a little bit harder for the clone brush. And then I option click on maybe just the top left of this tower. And then I go right here and paint down. You can see that I can actually create another tower. And then if I want to add it over here, I can't just use the clone tool and start painting over here. I have to option click again and paint on a tower. Something like that. Might have to go in here and fix a few things with the clone stamp tool. And the keyboard shortcut for the clone stamp is S on your keyboard. So you can just take some of these bushes. Sometimes it's good to take some other parts of the image that don't have as much or have a little bit more detail, actually, like plants or bushes, something where you can cover it up to make it look good. Kind of blend things together. So I didn't duplicate the original layer so I can see the before and after, which probably would have been a good idea, but I can go to history and go to the beginning where it's open and then go to the last clone stamp just to see the before and after. So this is a tool that you can use to get more creative. Thanks for watching, and then the next lesson we'll learn how to use the healing brush.